Hey, how you doing? I'm Pedge Tattoos, former mob associate, Serbian, Bonanno, and Gambino. And I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Pedge Tattoos. So I just wanted to come on here real quick and give a couple shout outs and let you guys know what's going on in the future. I got a bunch of crazy shows on the way. I got some exclusive content you won't see anywhere else. And it's some inside information about John Gotti, about Nicky Scarfo. There's some other information about Nicky Scarfo, John Gotti, a whole bunch of different mob people. It's pretty insane. I'll play a clip of that in 1 second. So this is part 4 of Pedge Tattoos interview. A lot of people are hating on Pedge, man, but hey, you get a lot of hate when you keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Ronan, what's going on? Maureen, how are you? Dave, what's good? Mob Rat Hunter, how are you? Knives Are Life, how are you? Thanks for joining me tonight. The Bronx, I emailed you. Thank you. Here the email is the Bronx. The email is billstax2021@gmail. You probably sent it to the other one. Emerald, what's up? Black Hand. Oh, wait, that's me. Pedge Tattoos is in the building. So without any further ado, let me play this little clip and then we'll get down to business.
Getting to John Gotti. John Gotti came in to marry him. You know, they're just trying to get him out the way. He did what he did up there in New York, took that Gambino thing and all that over. And I talked to John about it. I know what happened. What happened on the tier that day when John got jumped. Listen, there was this black kid, a young black kid off the East Coast that was walking back and forth on the tier, the second tier. John's on the second tier.
You won't see this content anywhere else. So that's John Greshner. He was the commissioner of the Aryan Brotherhood. He was on the 3-person panel with Barry Mills and T.D. Bingham. Some serious shit right there. I did the interview the other day. Shout out to Mike Marino. Now let's get down to business. Pedge Tattoo. To this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Tattoo Pedge.
And I should have thought proper. And, I got stabbed. I also, in that bar, I took a Corona bottle to my forearm. That's another story. But, I mean, it's another case of some guy who thinks he's a wise guy, wants to come in and start doing the wrong shit. And he thought he was going to get away with running his mouth off and, touching my ex's ass like, it was nothing. And then what are you going to do about it? It's like, well, what am I going to do about it? By the time I go to turn around to grab my gun, this guy already broke the bottle of Corona and jigged me in the forearm. So I'm just seeing blood squirting. So now I pick up the gun. I start shooting over everybody's head because he came in with 3 guys. Everybody went down. Tables were turned over. They didn't know what was going on. I grabbed this guy by the hair, started pistol whipping him, dragged him 150 feet through the bar by his hair, punching him in the face with the gun. Right in front of my bar was a bus stop. I was about to curb him. I was about to curb this guy. And I'm just hearing bottles being broken behind me. When I go turn around, my patrons, all these young bucks, are beating the crap out of his boys. Literally. They brought him out. They're like, watch what happens to your boy. One kid came up to me, goes, Pedge, you don't want to do this. So I was like, no, then I'm going to do this. And I was like, putting it to his head. No, Pedge, look at him. And I started looking at him. Then it started coming to me, like, because, when you're in that moment, you see red. And I started to see.
Pumping.
Yeah. And I started, like I said, you have that smell, that whole thing. At that time, the only thing I smelled was concrete because it was like a little drizzly outside. So I was smelling that wet cement. That was just going through my brain. And he was full of blood. Like all of this was like missing. He was like, going like this. Face was swollen already. It was just a mess. I said, you know what? I don't ever want to see you here again. If you even come to this neighborhood, because I know they're not from this neighborhood. I was like, if you ever come here again, I'm going to fucking kill you. He came back 2 days later with his uncle. Walks in my bar, shoulders swaying. Hey, you know this kid? I was like, that punk ass bitch who got his ass whooped on fucking Friday? Yeah, I know who the fuck he is. Who the fuck are you? Oh, you know who I am? He starts throwing names from Chicago. He's running with this guy. He's running with that guy. I turned around. I was like, who'd you just mention? Pete? Pete what? So he says the guy's name. I pull out my cell phone and I speed dial this guy. And I put him on speaker. And I was like, yo, my man, I don't mean to call you with a favor or anything, but I got this guy. What's your name? And he tells me, he says his name. I said, you know this guy? He goes, what did his nephew do now? And I said, well, he came in here, tried to grab my wife's ass, tried to mouth off to me, cut me with a bottle, literally jigged me. I got Corona Musfinas like written on my arm, like the bottom of the bottle. I go, like, for real, bro. And now he comes in here with the audacity, like he's going to do something, So he's like, all right, can he hear me? I'm like, yeah, you're on speaker. He tells him in Serbian. He's like, you tuck tail and get out. He goes, and you never show your face ever again. Stay in Philly. So I go, oh, Philly. And I said, all right, thanks, Pete. I hung up. And I was like, you're from Philly? He goes, yeah. I said, had I known your nephew was from Philly, I would have called people that I know, the Serbs that are running with the Italians over there. I would have called somebody over there. Your nephew would have been buried. He would have came home to a funeral. Done. He would have been in the casket. I go, end the story. Because this is disrespecting me in my own house. Yeah. I was like, he was like sent there to disrespect me by my opposing, the opposing bars, because I shut them down for 6 months. I was the hot shot now. I was making moves. I was everything now. Instead of me going to strip bars, I had strippers coming in my bar at 4 a.m. dancing on my pool table. So I had a mini strip bar. I had everything you could want. I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, and they were getting paid, and it was that you can go bang them in the bathroom. I didn't care. It was just like a free for all. I wanted money. That's all I cared about. Now, this guy comes in and does this, and it's why. So he did say, he goes, I was sent in here to start trouble. They were plying me with alcohol in another bar. I was like, let me guess, this in this bar? Yeah, I don't want to mention the guy's name from the bar, only because if I mention the name, I'm giving this guy props. And we kind of left it off on bad blood. We made up, we made peace, we shook hands, but I ain't mentioning anybody. I'm not going to glorify their establishment. But my establishment, Mood Lounge, that shit was on the map, okay? That people, like I said, in Belgrade heard about me. And I was bringing live music from Belgrade. I was bringing, when they would come on tour, Chicago, Miami, L.A., I'd bring them, put them in my mom's crib, let them sleep in my mom's house, pay them for whatever, 3 Gs, come in my bar. Yo, people were pissed because, big stars, like let's say like a Mariah Carey type, of Serbia. She'd come and like, here's 5 Gs, and she'd sing for me for that one night, get on a plane and go back home. And she'd make like at least 2,000 in tips, So
yeah,
it was,
like
it was insane.
Spot in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm gonna, Staxx, I'm gonna
jealous of you.
After we do this interview, I'm gonna send you a few pictures so you see. I'm not just sitting here trying to blow smoke. What, I don't care. I did what I did. I had my 10 minutes. I lived it to the fullest, and I got out. And it was great meeting all these people and having all these pictures and memories and fond memories. And I've met good people along the way, and I still have connections with people like Punch. Bosco's no longer with us. Bosco passed away. A lot of guys that we were in that same circle passed away. One was murdered. One died of a heart attack. I mean, some died in gang warfare. Some are in jail for a long time. They ain't gonna ever see the light of day.
Who are some of the other notable mob guys that you ran across? Didn't you run
Italian
across
or Italian or
Italian?
Serbian?
Italian.
Okay, so you mean like made guys or like big associates or like soldiers?
Didn't you run across Joe Messina in the past?
Joe Messina, I was introduced by the same person that owned the building and owned the bar. So they had a stag party in Casablanca. Casablanca was Joe Messino's spot. It was a restaurant that was his. It wasn't a place where they met to do anything, to talk or whatever. But a lot of younger guys that were making their bones would hang in front of this place, have a coffee, and just show muscle. Hey, we're running with Joe. They never did. So it was a stag party that all these made guys would go hunting with these associates, and they shoot a deer when it was deer season, and then they'd have a stag party. The chefs would cut up the meat, they would make some sausage and some steaks, and they would serve it, and all these guys. So I was invited to the stag party out of respect because I'm with this guy now. So I get in there, I'm being introduced to made guys. Like I know who this guy is. This guy, this guy's from the Bronx, Vinny Basciano. Then this guy, I was just introduced. He's a friend of mine. You know, that's it. When they say you're a friend of his or he's a friend of mine, you're an associated to him now. You're one of them. It's done. It's like now you could talk free. But until then, I can't say, hey, how you doing? I'm Pedge. That doesn't fly like that.
Yeah.
So I met Vinny. There was a bunch of other guys, some guys that I knew, but I didn't know they were made. And when it's Pedge. I went to school with you. I'm like, hey, how you doing, cuzzo?
Was
I
Tommy
hung up.
Karate around back in then?
No, I never met Tommy Karate. See, like I'm not one of these guys that do mob tube or mob shows and say, I knew Tommy, I knew Joe Messino, I knew this. I knew a lot of guys by face because I seen them all the time in the cafes. And unless they were making some big ass moves that I got interested in to find out who they were, fine. But if I was somewhere and there was something going down, I wouldn't put my hands on them because I know who they are. I got introduced to them. Like, they say that thing where you can't put your hands on a made guy. Yeah, but you have to know that he's made. You have to know. So when I go by the cafe, they introduce me. We're playing cards. Hey, Pedge, there's a friend of ours. That means he's made. He's a fucking made guy. He's a capo, whatever. He's a friend of mine. That just means you're associated to this guy. You're introduced. So it's kind of funny how that really plays like you see in the movies. It really does. But
Or
it's
you
like
start messing with a girl and you find out she's
another
really
thing
with
that
this
I'll be
guy.
honest with you. You mess with a girl, and this is what really pissed me off towards the end. As much, okay, you knew this girl was with this guy. I'd have that kind of respect when I walk up, be like, yo, I know you're not with her. Do you mind if I freaking throw her a shot? I would say it straight. Oh, yo, I got mad respect for you. Yeah, you know what? Throw her a shot. See if you could do better than me. You sure about that? I don't want this coming back now. You take my head off. No, guy, throw her a shot. I only had one guy get mad. I asked him. He said, yeah, throw her a bang. I don't care. And I threw her bang. What he got mad was that I threw her bang in one night. He had to like work for it. You understand? And he was somebody. And I guess this chick wasn't, she was making him work or whatever. But with me, it was just straight, like we hung out 2 hours later. I was like, let's go back to my house and pop, So I came back boasting about it. I said, hey, remember that girl I told you about? Yeah, I threw her a bang last night. Oh my God, it was incredible. I go, she was begging. And he kind of got irked. He kind of like, you see him, like flinching.
Like,
I was like, yo, Carmine, you mad? No. I was like, yo, dude, did I come off strong? Yeah, I had to work for it. So I laughed, and he goes, what are you laughing at? I'm like, because you had to work for it. I go, you're made, bro. You got the nice car. You got this. You got that. You got the pinky ring. I was like, what'd you have to work for? He goes, she made me work for it. And you go over there, you bang it. You full of shit, right? You didn't bang it in one shot. So you want me to call her right now? I go, I'll call her right now. I go, if you want to, you got to be a dick, right? You got to be a
You're
wife.
like, I got the pictures.
Oh, no, I never did. I did that later, but not with, those kind of chicks, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, it's insane, man. Like, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse. I met a lot of famous people. I met, I met Mickey Rourke. I met Charles Bronson. I met Whoopi Goldberg. I was working in the fashion district, at a union job, and I was just like, that was my side gig. That was my bread and butter right there. Like I had $1,000 coming in every week. That was legit. I had benefits. I had the whole thing, and I was all mob fixed as well, So I had that. and I held that job for 15 years, you know, but I was doing everything and anything. If I right after I did the bar stuff,
Yeah.
I did construction. I had like 15, 20 Mexicans working for me. I would outsource these jobs and I just put them on the job, be like, walk in and be like, you know, trabajo, tu quiero trabajo? Yeah, $150 a day. Yeah. Comida? Yeah, they want food. Boom. I'd get them Chinese food. I'd come at 12 o'clock. I'd bring them to the job, leave them with my tools. They would do my job. I'd come feed them at 12, come pick them up at 5, 6, and take them back where I picked them up, you know, on the spot. And that was going on for a while, and I was making hand over
Collect
fist
your
with that.
paycheck. Just
Yeah,
collect your
bro. Yeah,
paycheck.
I was making money hand over fist. It was good. I was always doing something, you know. Like I said, I did cigarettes for a while. I did credit cards. I got jammed up in Vegas, you know. Um, I expunged my record um right after I got the bar. The guy, the Bonanno guy, put me in touch with a great lawyer. This guy was playing, he's playing golf. You know, that's the deal. You play golf, you make connections. He told me, he goes, you got to pay. He goes, you want to spend your record? I gotta, you know, I gotta grease the right palms. I paid him 50, large. Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. In 6 weeks, I did a fingerprint card, and my license came in. My license came in. I still have it because I'm like shocked. It's my name. Liquor license. You can't have a felony. You can't. You can't have a
I'm
can't have a
working on
smudge on your
getting
record.
my record expunged. I'm in the process right now of
Yeah,
doing
so
it.
you know, it's if you got the money, it's easier because it's got to get to the right judge where the right judge says, well, he's trying to exonerate himself. He's good, you know, moral turpitude. You know, I got letters from my parish priest. You know, this guy's like, oh, he's in church every Sunday. He's the best. He gives every year, he gives like $2,000, $3,000. You know, he's always here
Yeah.
donating his time. Yeah, dude, I come there 2 times a year. Come on, let's get real. You know, I send him a check, you know, for membership, you know, my dues. Here's my dues, leave me alone, you know. He comes to my house, he has drinks with me, you know, like he's a cool priest, you know. So I did all of that. I got expunged. When I got jammed up in Vegas, what saved me was an old trick. Crazy glue your fingers. And I knew if I get pinched, my fucking fingers are gonna save me. Sure enough, I get pinched. 4 IDs, credit cards not in my name, shitload of cash, chips in the other pocket. They put me in the crew that I was running with these Romanian guys. This guy was king of credit cards. This guy banged out Vegas for like 19 mil. This guy's insane, bro. He had a crew. He had strippers. He had hookers. He had like it was the Romanian connection. He wanted me to move out there so bad. He was like, Pedge, you speak Romanian, you speak Serbian.
You
He
wanted
goes,
to, right? You wanted
yeah,
to
and
move
I
out there.
literally, you know what stopped me was I got jammed out and I got jammed up over there. And then my son was born in 2000 and 2004. And we went there in 2004 while she was what? No, I already bought tickets to go and she was I think 6 weeks. So it was like I had a blank check. I was gonna buy a house out there. My mom was gonna stay in my apartment complex in my building that I owned, and she was gonna take care of that for me. I was gonna go out there. She gets pregnant, and I'm all like, what the, you know, like I don't know if I really want to do this because I know I'm gonna get locked up. I know I'm gonna do some serious time out there because it's the wild, wild west. It's open, you know.
Yeah.
So I have to of course I have to like smack some heads around because it's, you know, the thing to do when you get out there. You got to, you know, make yourself known, you know. But I got jammed up, and like I said, the fingerprints didn't come back. So my alias, I don't want to say my alias, but my
You don't
alias
got
is my
it.
go-to name, and it's an Italian name, and it rolls off my tongue. And when I say it, it's just insane, you know, like
How did
what
you
the
get caught in Vegas? How did they?
um, they were watching us. They were watching when you use the cards and you go to the cage to cash it out, to pull cash off the card. So I had all the information. I was good. Like,
Yeah,
you
you
know, like
get
I'd go
cash
to
back off credit cards, right?
yeah, so
And
like
then
yeah,
they
you go to the house and you'd be like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gambling." You have some chips in front of you and be like, "Hey, I need to pull out like 5 grand." Now you know what you could pull out. So like this card has, let's say, 11,000. You pull out 5 the first time. You go and you gamble for about 45 minutes. Go to the different house. You go to the front of the house, not the back of the house, because they had two areas to cash in. So you go to the other one and you go over there and you be like, "Hey, you know what? I need to pull another 4 or 5 grand." You don't get greedy. You don't pull all 11. So you pull 4 or 5. So the first day I pulled out like 70 some thousand, like all the cards. I was golden, bro, golden. The next day, you know, when I got jammed up, and they called me with like 7 G's in my pocket, like couple G's in chips, big chips, and I had all these IDs and whatnot, but I had my fingers all crazy, dude. So also a lot of times when you went up to the cage, they would ask you to put your fingerprint, your thumbprint. So they would be like, we need proof that you're pulling off this cash. Because a lot of these people never were going to a casino and use their cards. So it's like a red flag, you know, even though, hey, my name is John Gutierrez, but it's not. But I'm playing along and I was born on whatever, 10/6/66. And, you know, my mother's maiden name is this and what I had all the info, you know,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just me. It was a crew of like 12 guys doing this, you know. But my friend ends up getting pinched for this, you know. He's the mastermind and whatever. And he got pinched, and dude, he had some house, man, some crib, man, 15-foot doors. It was on a horse ranch, so he could legally have horses. He had like 5 or 6 acres. It was insane. It was all his neighbors had horses. It was like, you know, you'd smell horse shit, but it was beautiful. It was just insane. And his living room was just with a sunken floor. Like he had like the couches there. And
Yeah, where you
first time I walked into his, yeah, like when
it's like
it kind of looked like the guy from Casino, his house, like big like that. It was insane because it was in that area, you know. On the other side, I forgot what that area was called, but it's at the end of the strip on the right hand side. But across from it is Diamondback. Diamondback is like overlooking all of the strip and everything. So when I was going to move there, I was going to go to Diamondback and buy a house. Back then, I could have got for 450. I could have got a 5,000 square foot house, dope granite, you know, like bells and whistles, like the way I had my house in Jersey, custom built. I had Versace tile. I was like such a show off with that house, you know. But it is what it is. Look, you know, you earn that money and you want to have good things in your life, you know. And I had my kid, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't move out there. I got jammed up, but I just never went back. So they got my mug photo, they got the whole thing. But I spoke to my lawyer, and they said, you know, statute of limitations and whatnot, and you use this other identity and whatever. They're not, if they haven't looked for you yet to lead 2 and 2 together, they're not gonna. And Punch did the same thing. Punch had like seven aliases, and back then the fingerprinting was regular fingerprinting. It's not, you know, today where you just put it on a, what do you call that? Like a little computer
it's
screen.
like a
And
glass thing. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
when they first installed
Yes,
that thing.
they put all that black stuff on your fingers, and then you
Yeah,
got to
they
do it.
used to do that. They used to
And
do that.
it took a good like couple of weeks for them to literally have to look with the glass to, and you know, and we even had people that were in the fingerprinting department. They would like make shit disappear. Like, you know, back then you could pay off a lot of people. You knew there was dirty cops back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you heard about the 7/7, all those dirty cops, the Michael
Yeah.
Dowd thing. It is what it is, and that's what it was. And,
He's
but
just
yeah, man,
one little piece. Michael Dowd's just one little piece in this
that he's just
huge.
one cog in a huge chain of like events and chains and cogs and gears, you know.
Yeah.
And it still goes on today. It's just a little bit more low key, and they don't really trust it like they used to, you know. But I got a few friends that are like lieutenants now, you know, and we still, you know, talk shit, and we call each other up and, hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna come to Florida. No, don't come here. Come on, stay over there, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody's coming. Like if you go to like the east coast of Florida, every rat and every informant and everybody who's still active in the mob is doing something. You know, they either have a business or they're trying to legitimize themselves. I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, and a lot of them they got used car dealers. Like that's the first thing that I was gonna do when I came here was get my, you know, get my dealer plate and just start selling cars. But where I'm at in Clearwater, the Bosnians control that shit. So I met a couple of top dogs when I came here. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You know, at 40, I think 46 it was when I came here, 47, when I was 47 years old. So I was still out in that life, but I was like, do I step on people's toes? Do I got to prove myself here? But the luck that I have, I'm at somebody's house. He's a musician. I have this thing with musicians, and he comes to the musician's house, and he's the head guy, like head of like Bosnian mob. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he's here, and I'm sitting at the table, and I'm like vibing him. He's vibing me. And he goes, what's your name again? I said, Pedge. He goes, you got that New York accent. You're from New York? I was like, yeah. Now he spoke in broken English. He's like, where in New York? And they start to speak to me in Serbian. I said, Queens, you know, and I start throwing some, I know who you are. You had a bar, right? I go, yeah. He goes, you know Bobby from Astoria? I said, crazy Bobby shit. Yeah, I used to go to his bar, and I used to like 3-star. I used to shoot up the place and whatnot and beat people up. And I heard of you. He goes, you were running with the Italians, right? I'm like, yeah. Bosco's guy. I'm like, oh shit, like, dude, my reputation followed me here. So this guy's like, whatever you need, I'm the go-to guy here. I'm like, no, I don't need anything. He goes, no, you ever get involved in something, you throw my name. Take my number, put it in your speed dial. And I was like, no. He asked me to come to his house the next day. He goes, you got to come to my house tomorrow. All right, whatever. So I go to his house and I'm sitting there in his living room waiting for him to come home. He calls his wife and says, can you tell this guy, Pedge, we can make it for another time? I said, yo, dude, it's fine. You don't have, no, I need to talk to you. Because I guess he thought I was going to come down here and make moves. And he wanted to, I guess he wanted to be involved or give me a blessing or get a piece of the action, you know, for me to bless him.
Yeah.
But I didn't take that, you know, and I ran into somebody else. My mom was getting a haircut. And this lady was there and she's talking and where you from? Who do you know? Another, you know, lady from Bosnia. And I'm just like, I don't know anybody, but I do know people. I just didn't want to, you know, I'm like, let me stay the way it is. So we start talking. I was this and I did, you know, this one, do you know that one? I was like, yeah. I go, he used to sing for me. No, he sings here in Florida. He comes like like 3 or 4 times a year. I was like, just tell him Pedge tattoos. His eyes are going to go like this. I go, he's going to know me. I go, I used to like wreck people in the bar. Like if I didn't get my songs played in my order, I go, it is what it is. So sure enough, she went outside, smoked a cigarette, started calling this guy, puts me on the phone with him. What the hell? Where'd you meet this lady? You know, she's my best customer whenever I come to sing down there. I'm like a small world. And that's exactly what it is, Staxx. It's a small world. Everybody's interconnected. Some people more than others, you know, like we were getting back to, I got introduced to Joey Messino.
A lot more on the way. I hope you guys like that one. Part 5 is on the way tomorrow night around 9 or 10 o'clock. And I got a bunch of new content on the way. If you guys want to donate, you can hit up the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Super Sticker. Even if it's $1, it goes a long way. I'm trying to find funding for a couple things I got going on. And a lot of the things I do take money. So if you guys want to help me, all the content will just get better and better. I appreciate all you guys. I hope you have a great night. And remember, don't be a bitch.